Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome in Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Loffon. A few isolated showers out there that we are tracking. We need the moisture. How much will we see? We're looking at that and complete forecast here over the course of the next few minutes on Mississippi Live Weather here at 5 p.m. in the Room to Room Weather Center. Brief heavy rainfall, I think, possible for some as we go throughout this evening and into tonight. Where it's at, pretty isolated in nature. I think isolated could also be added to that description there. More widespread chances are on the way as we head toward Easter weekend, and leading up to that as well. Thursday into Friday, of course, there's chances for rainfall getting a little bit more likely, and we are tracking some limited severe weather potential. How does that all line up? We're looking at those risks around the region, the overall risk for us as well, coming up here in a couple of minutes. But looking at that forecast over the course of the first 12 here, as you can see, we're 81 degrees at 6 p.m. Coverage of rainfall, this shows you just how limited it is, only around 10% or so at 6 p.m. By 9 p.m., we're looking at around 20%, 10% by midnight or so. So again, not a whole lot of activity, probably reaching its peak in the next couple of hours, with mid-60s on the way by early morning on your Wednesday. Looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar distance and showing a few showers back there closer to Chula. We'll kick this over here to the higher resolution mode of this for just a moment as we do. We'll kind of there in and around the locations down there closer to Holmes and Carroll County. Again, not a ton of lightning showing up on this here. We showed the lightning strikes on this at around 150 or so actually over the last hour. So that's a decent number in comparison to most. And this is kind of in that zone there. We've had that fire going on there close to the Koala area near the Black Hawk area of Carroll County. Talking to Mississippi Forestry Commission earlier today, 90% contained. They need some rainfall. Hopefully this provides not just some wind. The rain, the trajectory on that isn't perfect as far as that's concerned, but nice to see at least if somebody's going to see something that's getting at least close to there. As we track this batch toward the north and east, again, this is heavy rainfall really at most, moving about 30 miles per hour or so. I'm going to have to shrink the size of the number of places or at least extend that track out a little bit. Let's go about a 50-mile track there as we look ahead. Grenada, if that holds on, about 604 for you, kind of looking at that angle that's moving. And again, some smaller locations in the next little bit here. We're looking there closer to the Centerville area out there in Carroll County by around 513 there. Grenada, we mentioned about 604 for you. Looking at Hurricane Branch there, about 616. Again, moderate rainfall, the heavy rainfall, some lightning, of course, with that, as well as it moves toward the north and east. As we clear that off, again, checking the hail potential out of that. No real hail, I think, that's of significant concern, but we do have maybe the potential near Chula of a couple of hailstones that have fallen with this there. We can appreciate True Shield Roofing for partnering with us on that hail threat on our projections here. But luckily not a ton of hail out of this evening. And a few other spotty showers we're looking at here closer to Louisville, moving along Highway 25 toward the north and east on this batch here. Again, speed on this, again, about 20, 25 miles per hour, but really not any lightning strikes with this as well. That gradually moves toward high point locations up more to the north. So again, as we bring it back over here to Mama Justice Doppler radar on the wider shot here across the region, you'll see this moisture just kind of working its way out of the Gulf of Mexico. We have a front back to the north and west.
Matt, real quick, it seems like the music is still playing in the background.
That's fun. Okay. Remind me, hey, would you send Ben a text message about that as well, just to let him know for one reason or another that decided it was not going to play along?
I'm on it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Hey, everybody at home, give me 2 seconds. I want to just check something here to see if it does the same. Yep, nope. Nope, so I'm going to have to figure out why that is decided to play out on that there, but maybe I can figure that out during the commercial break. Hey, I appreciate that one, Gabe, on the heads up there. Well, we just wanted it nice and jazzy as we're talking through this, right? Here's a look at Futurecast, again, showing that front back to the north and west. We're kind of implementing a few upgrades here, some really cool stuff we'll have for you the next couple of days, some real big advancements here on Mississippi Live Weather, and because of that, we're tweaking some stuff behind the scenes and the way things work. So what's worked perfectly for like 6 months little jiggy at the moment here as we're trying to get everything fixed and ready for that there. But as you can see, just some spotty showers out there. We'll look a lot closer at this here in a moment as we watch that front kind of moving in from the northwest there. Doesn't move very quickly, does it? So we have a wide open Gulf of Mexico bringing in more moisture, and that means more rain chances. I think a few more thunderstorms for Wednesday, much better chances probably by Thursday as well as Friday and into this upcoming weekend. So we need the rainfall. We have some spotty stuff today, becoming a lot more likely in the next couple of days. We're still keeping that coverage only around 20% or so for tomorrow. We're 67 at 9 a.m. there, 79 by noon, 83s look toward 3 p.m. Under what, again, some mostly sunny skies with most locations probably still staying dry for tomorrow. Mid-80s, that is above our normal for this time of year, but not quite to record levels. Okay, coming up here in about 60 seconds, we will be looking at some of those storm chances, severe weather threat, kind of the broader scale look at that across the region as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room Weather Center right after this.
After a storm, the damage is not always obvious. And if it's not documented correctly, it can cost you. With a decade of experience, we know exactly what to look for. We handle the inspection, claim support, and the roof. Storm season is coming. Make sure you have absolute restoration on your side.
I have been going to Tupelo Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Tupelo Smiles.
Right now, from the Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather. Wide shot here does show some showers and thunderstorms for other parts of the country. The plains back out here toward the Midwest. Not for us for now. Severe weather risk for tonight, as you'll note here. It's level 2 and level 1 risk stretching from West Texas all the way, as you can see, to upstate New York, all well to the north of us where the jet stream is more active. Similar spots to a certain extent for tomorrow, with clearly a more substantial bullseye back out there on the plains, locations back into Oklahoma and Kansas. For us, that threat gets a little bit more likely as we go here into your Thursday. But even then, as you can see, that's still solidly back to the north and west, and we don't officially have a severe weather risk for Friday for our region, or Saturday for that matter. But as you can see, there is a level 2 out of 5 risk for the plains on Friday. I expect the strongest storm still northwest of us at that point in time as well. Saturday, we're hopeful things are out of sync by the time this storm system arrives. Still some fuel around, still a little early. This is not a slam dunk severe weather threat when we're looking towards Saturday, thankfully. And hopefully that remains the case. Still a few days away, though, before that system gets a little closer to us and brings us more active weather here. On Mama Justice Doppler radar, continue to show some showers and thunderstorms out here closer to around Greenwood and Carrollton. You know, the Winona camera's been getting its work out over the last week, has it not? Looking out of that camera back from Winona there, back toward the west into this. Those showers and thunderstorms there just so badly need that rainfall for a lot of locations out there. But again, that contrast to the dark clouds that thankfully are not dark smoke for a change. It's actually rain, hopefully falling on some places that really, really need it there. Looking out of that camera in Winona. Camera up in Batesville at this time, also again showing some of those puffy cumulus clouds. Oxford, that camera, the main one that we have there on the tower, still down from the last time we had some storms there. North Mississippi storm chasers working to get that. And there's that baseball camera we were looking at a moment ago there with those southwest winds at about 11 miles per hour. As we look again, those puffy cumulus clouds, but not a lot of vertical development out of any of those. So our forecast the next few hours here does continue to have some isolated showers, a possibility, keeping that coverage of rainfall only around 20% or so, meaning even where we do get it, probably not enough. and certainly still somewhat spotty in nature there. 70 at 10 p.m., 67 to head toward 11. Looking toward Easter weekend, rain chances obviously for Good Friday, for Saturday, and for Easter Sunday. Notice the obvious temperature contrast here between Saturday and Sunday. The drop in temperatures coinciding with a front that's going to bring us the best chances for storms probably Saturday, a residual chance for early Sunday in particular, possibly impacting some of those plans for sunrise services. Best chances for rainfall over the next week, as you can clearly see, going to probably be Saturday, with chances getting a little bit better the next couple of days in that 20 to 30% realm for some of that peak chance, and then diminishing as we look into next week. So at least for a change, we have some rainfall chances there, and we certainly need it. Notice here on Futurecast, though, pretty spotty. A lot of us still not seeing much. You saw a few of those little flare-up showers there back for Greenwood, back to Grenada and Oxford the next few hours here. A few more down there south of Hollandale and Eudora, and a couple showing up around the Golden Triangle. Not a lot of activity, though. Most of us still fairly dry overnight, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning once we've lost the heat of the day today. So we're well beyond that by that point in time. Not a lot of heating. That means not a lot of lift. That means not a lot of storms. Maybe 1 or 2 sprinkles up there closer to the Memphis area around South Haven and Senatobia. We're going to be 64, the low temperature in Senatobia, 62 Houston, 63 degrees in Starkville. Normal this time of year is around 47, so we're running a bit above that. As we look at that school bus forecast, 63, that pickup temperature there on our IMPC school bus forecast. We're 83 for the drop-off. Rain chances much more likely to have some storms popping up in the afternoon because of, again, engaging the heat of the day, the moisture, and everything that goes alongside that. So here is Futurecast looking 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Not a whole lot of activity out there, but you do start to see a few thunderstorms out here closer to Cleveland as we head toward around noontime. Also back there to the east of Bastrop, north of Vicksburg. A greater number of those, though, closer to the Alabama state line as we head toward around 3 to 4 o'clock down there south of Macon, toward Scuba and Meridian, all kind of working their way northward. Majority of us not seeing much, but you could definitely have some rumbles out of this, a possibility of some lightning, some heavy rainfall. God knows we need it. And keeping in those chances, though, pretty spotty. Notice a lot of us not getting in that category and staying dry on Wednesday. So we're on 20 to maybe 30% on that peak coverage of rainfall. Brief heavy rainfall amounts in excess of a ½ inch possible. Hopefully you or I get it, or, obviously anybody at that point, but I certainly want it from my house and the dustiness and pollenness that's outside as well. We're 86 in Grenada for the high on your Wednesday, as well as Greenwood, 86 degrees in Belzona, 85 Kosciuszko, and 82 for Hamilton, Alabama, 84 degrees in Vernon as well. So here's Futurecast, again, more dry than wet into tomorrow evening. A couple of sprinkles showing up out there closer to Clarksdale. But by 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, nothing, as we are dry again to begin early Thursday with that main storm system still west of us, but some of the better chances starting to get around on the first batch by late Thursday afternoon. So low 60s, once again, well above that 48 we'd expect for this time of the year. We'll be 65 at Senatobia there, about 62 degrees in Columbus, Starkville, and Louisville, 67 Belzona, and 63 degrees in Tupelo, Amory, and New Albany. So let's look at Futurecast. And again, the fuel starts increasing a bit more by Thursday. We find ourselves in this pattern where we still have our main front back to the north and west, 9, 10, 11 o'clock Thursday morning, and kind of a prefrontal wave here with this fairly decent complex of storms that we're showing back out there into Texas. And we'll look at Storm Tracker, more detail on that, our Storm Finder coming up at 6 p.m. tonight, looking at the severe weather potential on any of these. But as you'll pretty much note, there is kind of a change over there as we go between one model and the other. We go from our HRRR to our strike model, which isn't quite as widespread on the storms, but it is a little farther east on its positioning there by, say, 2 to 3 o'clock. Still solidly to our west, though, Thursday afternoon at that point. I've had some folks emailing in, hey, we have a school trip plan to go here or there. I don't think this is a scenario where anybody needs to be canceling anything. I think we're okay in that regard. I don't think we need to be canceling school trips. But there could be, again, 1 or 2 of these thunderstorms, maybe producing some hail, certainly some lightning, maybe a couple strong wind gusts. But this is not a tornado threat here. As you can see, even just the moderate rainfall working their way east on these showers and storms there by 5:30, 6 o'clock, showing up from Sardis to Chula and the Yazoo City area. This is substantially weaker in our strike model than what it indicated last night. That's not shocking considering how high-based these thunderstorms are because of the available fuel for them. So we're going 82 in Red Bay, 85 degrees in Amory, 86 in Columbus for high temperatures on Thursday. Otherwise, again, mostly cloudy skies and, again, 71 that normal, so way above that for this time of the year. Thursday here. Those rumbles, again, from Winona back toward Bruce and up closer to Ripley by, say, 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock on your Thursday evening, diminishing and dying out as we head into Thursday night. So we lose the heat of the day, that one of the main components there, the moisture and the heating, both combining to produce that CAPE, that fuel we look at for thunderstorms. As we go into the overnight hours, there's just not a lot there with that. We start off Friday morning relatively dry. As we go into Friday, our next system gets, again, a little next wave with this system, getting a little bit closer here. Same main front still back to the west of us at that point. Main storm system up that direction as well. But as you can see, wide open Gulf of Mexico, so more moisture coming northward. Maybe some spotty showers, noontime. A greater likelihood to see a few of those by, say, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So again, if today we're not seeing much, and tomorrow we're not seeing much, Thursday we'll see more. Friday will probably be just a little bit less than Thursday, but still have a few of these. We start getting some of the darker red showing up here. Some brief wind gusts a possibility, maybe even a few hailstones out of the heaviest of these. But the majority of us, I mean, you're looking at here Tupelo, Amory, Columbus, Russellville, Florence, not showing up much there, right? So the majority of us aren't really going to see a whole lot there into Friday afternoon at this point here. But by Friday night, as that next storm system approaches, our chances get a little bit greater. Let's go wider on this shot here for a moment. And you'll notice, again, this kind of lead cluster here, and then a greater number of storms. Watch right along the front here as those end up flaring up, a greater number of those where they're a little stronger right at the front. So this little wave we have ahead of that is going to cause some issues for maybe some of your Good Friday evening plans. We've at least temporarily moved our game of the week to Thursday. I'll let Gabe butt in if we've changed that behind the scenes because of some schools, adjusting their things. But again, just these showers, I think, are going to have some lightning with them, but these are probably not going to be severe. Hopefully not going to be severe on your Friday evening here. And then our front gets closer. No storms hugging right along the front here, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in those pre-dawn hours of early Saturday morning, with the greatest, strongest thunderstorms right along that front back out into Arkansas. So let's bring it in a little closer. And again, as some rumbles are forming ahead of this, big takeaway should be this, that this is not a severe weather setup of significance at this point, but some gusty wind, maybe some hail possible out of this as it moves in. Main round here, as you can see, strengthening a little bit more by midday on Saturday. This particular version of Strike, our long-range, high-resolution model, the longest range ones you can get anywhere, runs out of data by noontime on Saturday. So again, we expect the timing on this to adjust. But one takeaway I notice right now, I do still have a few of these little bands that have a little bit of a Boeing sort of shape to them. So some strong gusty winds possible if they can outpace the front just a little bit, which does remain a possibility. And we'll look at that with our storm finder coming up at 6 o'clock. So again, day by day forecast here. We are looking at 83 degrees for that high temperature on Wednesday. Again, 30% there means 70% of us probably are not going to see anything with that there, as we're looking at 83 degrees for the high. We're 84 by Thursday, 40% coverage of storms, so a greater coverage by then. Friday, again, about 30% on that rain coverage, meaning a lot of us missing out. So the next 3 days, yes, you have rain chances, but I think there's somebody watching right now that by Saturday morning has been like, it's supposed to rain all week long. We haven't seen it. That's not shocking. That is this setup where a lot of us don't see much, if anything, the next 3 days. But some of us are lucky enough to hit the rain lottery, ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch of rainfall, if it all goes just right for you. Saturday is the day I think we're a little more likely to have a few of those thunderstorms produce some strong wind gusts, thus that severe weather threat. And you saw that blue line, that front moving in from the north and west. That'll start the drop in temperatures a little bit as we go into your Saturday and continue that into your Easter Sunday. Easter at this point, rain chances, any storms we see, first part of the day in particular, we're concentrating on that. We will look at a lower resolution version of Futurecast coming up at 6 o'clock there. But behind that, we're down into the 60s for highs on Sunday, mid 60s by Monday, and lower 70s look toward Tuesday of next week. So if we can skirt this out of here without having significant storms, that we get another week or so here before we have to deal with any sort of more significant issues related to that. I appreciate everybody for joining us in the chat online. And by the way, I always appreciate you guys for coming up alongside of us on that there. It's interesting that decided it wanted to highlight that. Huh. Boy, today's the day, isn't it? There's little things left and right. I'm enjoying this.
Well, Matt, while you're getting that behind the scenes, I do want to say Ethan, our sports guy, our sports expert, looking behind the scenes. IAHS Itawamba is still on as of right now, and he's looking to hear back from Hamilton here shortly. So a little update on our game of the weeks. Nothing canceled as of yet, but going to be ironed out as we get closer, of course.
Okay, absolutely. Appreciate that. So we'll be watching that closely. I see that Kevin mentioning on the old farmers say that if it rains on Easter Sunday, it'll rain for the next 7 Sundays. Well, Gabe's going to make a mental note of that here real quick and see if it's the next 7 Sundays. Considering the drought we're in, we need that. Not that we wanted to mess up any plans. Yeah, we'll definitely not. We're not against that, so to speak, especially if we keep it non-severe weather on Easter Sunday. So we'll keep a look at that. Of course, coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to look in more detail at the whole aspects of the forecast, in particular, driving down on, the lower resolution version of our futurecast on the timing of some of those rain chances for your Easter Sunday. Storm Finder helping us to kind of look at what sorts of severe weather chances we have, whether or not those storms are looking fully strong. I think we might even break out triple threat to kind of take the aggregated look there at hail for the next few days, as well as rotation and damaging winds. Don't expect to see a lot of that, but we'll see where it's most likely on Mississippi Live Weather at 6.